Peace. Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you back into another edition of the Foul Playland. As always, I'm your foul player, coming at you live from my vacation area. Um, I wanted to make this video regarding a story that's been on the news that I peeped a couple of I think like 2 days ago it happened. But the story has largely what that I've been concerned with of late, and that's line issues, like or supply chain issues, if you will. There's a lot of things happening as far as um stories that have direct involvements like with the way you get stuff like to you, um or the lack of you being able to get that stuff because of break in the link of the supply chain, and how those things affect like the price of you getting shit long term, and how it's good to plan around these things. Like I try to now, but one thing that you do get with a lot of these supply chain issues, like when the prices go up due to a supply chain issue, it'll usually never go back down. And I have one good example. It was the first time I ever heard of a supply chain issue, and it wasn't even a supply chain issue. I actually don't even recall like why this event happened when I was young. In addition to a lot of weird shit that happened when I was young, like which I could probably go on for days with all the crazy stories that I have. But this was, I mean, I was already living on 45th Street at that time, so I was probably between the ages of like 12 or 16. Um, because I moved to my second block in the same neighborhood when I was already like 11 or 12, which is 45th Street. But and I remember the coffee like we used to get, it was called Pilon. Like it was like a Spanish brand. Like there's like a Puerto Rican brand. The one that we used to get was called Pilon, and like the competing one to that one, which is more popular, is Cafe Bustelo. They would come in like those bricks. But I remember those bricks, you would get them for like $1. 129, like regular price. Like a lot of times, if it was on sale, you'd be able to bag them for $1. And of course, my mother would always send me to these stores, thinking that it's always $1. Like my mom always thought that the price of shit, like when she would send me to the store, was the price that was on clearance, like that, and that I fucked up for not finding it for the clearance price. But that's another story. But I remember it jumped drastically. It was like from 129 normal price to like 350. And I remember this was like widely covered in the news and whatnot. And they said that that was due to burn cropping, or something called burn cropping, a phenomenon that up until that point I never heard of. And what they said that they had to do was that they had an abundance of coffee at that point, and that they had to burn a large share of it, um, rather than like giving it away, I guess, or throwing it away, so that they could limit the supply of coffee and be able to raise the price of coffee because there was a limited supply. Now, maybe that's not how shit played out in the real sense, but that was and more likely than not, it didn't happen that way. But that was the explanation that the news had given at that time. And I remember since then, like you expect in your mind, like, oh well, that's a issue, and like maybe in the future when these things get a hold of themselves, that maybe you get coffee back to that $1.29 price that I was accustomed to, but that never happened. Like coffee now is like way more expensive, and it never went down nowhere near like to the 129 mark. It always stood, um, three plus. And these things may like sound boring, but these things, and like another thing too is that like I would food shop at my house. Even when I was young, like I'd use my mom's food stamps, and I was one of the ones that would shop. But so I was always acclimated to what things were supposed and what they cost. And even to this day, I'm still the principal food shopper at my house. My Wi-Fi is like um, on some sort of indication. But I say that like because a couple days ago in Illinois, a Tyrone Smith, salute, man. A couple days ago in Illinois, there was a fire at a chemical. That plant is the large producer of grease, like lubricants, like for vehicles or lubricants for conveyor belts, like for factories. It's the largest of its kind, and it was completely decimated a couple days ago. I think the fire may still be active, but one thing's for sure that the factory is no longer there. Like it's been completely obliterated, and that a lot of the grease that the factory or like has to do with what I'm noticing now is that there's a lot of issues like whether it be the Suez Canal thing, um and now with this thing that like seemed to be like directly a trip, like there was a trucker shortage recently too. Like a lot of truckers don't want to go back to work because they're not being paid enough, and we're finding less qualified truckers. Like I think they lifted or they raised the requirements to become a trucker. So we're getting a trucker shortage, and now we have a lubricant shortage for a lot of these truckers to get things to us, and a lot of these factories to work. Sometimes I think these stories are complete bullshit. Like I think that maybe that fire didn't happen by natural causes or by sheer coincidence. But what I don't think, um, you know, is a coincidence is that the price of that the excuse of a broken link in the supply chain is going to be the cause as to why you're paying more for whatever. And like when you have delivery issues that are nationwide, um, that's there's no like kind of like saving yourself from it. Like there's no reprieve with these things. Like you're gonna pay more. Like I'm gonna pay more. Like, and it blows all the way around. Another thing too, that this factory was the big its kind. Like I mean, like it happened. Like some think could happen, or but certainly doesn't happen. Is now making sure that my stream is still up because I'm looking at the TV and it's like frozen. But what doesn't happen in these cases is that did my shit off? Let me make sure on my phone. This shit says waiting for broadcast. What's up with this? Okay, my shit is frozen. Let me see if it goes on. Okay, my shit is frozen. Okay, now it's back on. Yeah, but what normally doesn't happen in these cases, like where the biggest supplier of one thing is fucked with, is that one thing that can't, it's just not possible, is that other factories like that make grease or make whatever the fuck, that they could pick up their pace and uh replace like what this factory was once doing. Like the supply chain is a really really delicate thing, and like that like that a break in that in the supply chain could fuck up the economies of this country and around the world in a bad way. And I'm telling you that a lot of the guys like that I talk to, and this isn't investment advice because I'm not allowed to do that, but a lot of you guys like should be looking to save yourself from a long-term calamity, like with the economy of this country, which is super super sensitive. This economy in this country and around the world is meant to just go 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 go. And when something like the virus that happened last year, or the thing that made everybody sick, happens last year, where things have to lock down, people don't understand how much money we lost. It was like just for this country, this country like owed the debt of this country was like 16 trillion before uh just a couple years ago. And now we're up to like 28 trillion or something like that. You know, these are big numbers. I mean, like, so I mean, like, and you may not feel that maybe I owe me to. There's no like, there's no way that you get a semblance or an idea that the country is in like deep debt because you go to the store and you're still finding bread for $1.29, or you're still finding bananas for 49 cents a pound. Yeah, 20 pack of toilet paper is still $12. But trust me, I mean, like, that this country is going to be in a world of hurt. Like, the world is going to be in a world of hurt with the economies of this country or the economics of this country. And, and one thing, I mean, like, could the supply chain issue be like what brings us there, or like the excuse to bring us there? Like, at some point, maybe it's going to be a buildup of things that gets us there. But if hopefully you've been listening somewhat to me, like, but you guys should be parking your finances in not. I mean, I'm not even gonna call silver or precious metals a safe place. It's just like the winning bet. Like, I mean, crypto is fantastic. I mean, if you're impatient or if you think you're gonna get paid big bucks off of crypto, I mean, now's a good time to buy crypto. I mean, because the market's kind of down of late. I mean, could I see a pullback in all cryptocurrencies, like, or crypto assets, like in the next couple months? Absolutely I do. I haven't been buying like crypto lately, like because I do see a pullback happen. Or I'm waiting on a pullback. If I don't get a pullback, I'm fine. Like, I'm not gonna cry. Like, if it goes up dramatically, I'm okay. But if it goes back, or if it gets pulled back dramatically, I'm all over these crypto assets. So a pullback to me, like, where I'm gonna really be like jumping the bones, if you will, like, per se, if like the crypto I like $10 right now, the back that I want is gonna be if it goes down to like $2. Then I'm all over that bitch. And the other day I almost got it, like, for a few seconds. I think it was a glitch, but one of the cryptos I like that's been trading for around $9 is went down to like $3, but they said it was a glitch. But it went down to $6. That I did see. So and regardless, I mean, if I get a little extra cash, I'm gonna buy, because like the crypto that I do love has been, even at $9 is pretty cheap. But maybe I'll buy like 500 shares or something, or 500 coins before like I see it eventually skyrocketing. But fuck crypto. Like, the place that you should be, I mean, like, is in precious metals. Like, I'm gonna give you a breakdown of my, like, where I leave my money. Number one, silver, bar none. The granddaddy, my base. There's very little times that I need to sell silver. Like, I got a bit with me, like, just in case something happens out here. Nothing crazy. Like, I have enough for, like, to float me 3 Gs if I needed 3 Gs, like, while I'm on vacation. Like, but it's just a great investment. And I very, very rarely like sell silver unless it's like that I need money to buy silver. Like, and that usually sometimes happens. Like, if I lock in a good price for silver and they give me 10 days to pay for it, which they usually do, I'll sell some stuff, like fancy stuff that I know the money for, just to get me closer to that mark. Like, to get me closer to, like, let's say if I need like 10 Gs or something, then I'll sell a little bit, but nothing crazy. But so that's my number one investment. Are you propping up silver again? Just kidding. No, I always, 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 always. If I give anything that sounds like finances, it's gonna be towards the godly metal, AG, silver. But my second investment space would be a tie, and that's between another precious metal and cryptos. So my other precious metal is platinum. I'm not nuts for platinum, like because the price has gone up like in the last like couple years. But do I like platinum? Yes, I love platinum. Platinum's great. Um, if it was between crypto and platinum, I can't really call it. I mean, like, if crypto is down, I'll buy that. Platinum doesn't go down that much, but I mean, like, when I get platinum, I feel a lot better about getting it unless I bought crypto at like fucking cheap rate. Like, and that would be like closer to what I'm telling you. Like, if a crypto is normally $10 and I'm buying it for $4, then yeah, you know. But and more of that, I mean, like if I were giving any advice, like, and not so you don't catch a heart attack, like I would say in that sense that maybe start building up towards one Bitcoin or half a Bitcoin even, as your crypto, if you will. Like, just so you don't get like caught up in like crazy shit. It's always good to fuck with Bitcoin because it's gonna be the granddaddy. It's like the storage of wealth long term. So I mean, like, you do want to get towards that one Bitcoin. I have like Bitcoin all the time and I get rid of it like usually instantly. Like Bitcoin to me is, I'm not like nuts about it, like even though everybody else, but it's necessary. But I don't keep a lot of it for now. Like eventually I am gonna start stashing more, like, but for now I'm okay. Bitcoin right now, like price wise, it's a steal. I think Bitcoin by the end of the year, I said 100,000. I'm gonna stick to my guns on that. I think we're gonna get to. I have no Bitcoin. I'm poor. It's too expensive. No, it's not. I mean, like, you look into like Tyrone. You're. I mean, like, if you guys don't know Tyrone Smith, um, Tyrone Smith runs a fine boxing channel. In addition to that, though, what you don't know, what if you're subscribed to this channel, is that Tyrone Smith, brilliant. The young engineer. But I say that to say this. I mean, like, and it doesn't require an engineer's brain. But as far as like looking into these cryptos, like you'll find like some that are like cheap. One that I always talk about is Algorand. Um, that are just good projects that have really good people behind them, and sometimes the price on them, as far as spikes go, and like as far as price increases, they don't really reflect like the capability and the potential of a lot of these cryptos. In fact, most of them don't. Like most cryptos that everybody's nuts about, I'm usually not nuts about. Um, I like to look into like long term what these people have in mind, and like who are the brains behind them, who's willing to finance them, or who you know. So Bitcoin may not be that one right now, but you may buy some crappy one that, or crappy crypto that you're really like, that might have a lot of potential, and you could buy like get your little Bitcoin, your one Bitcoin, by investing into something like that may not be expensive right now. Like Ethereum. Ethereum is number two crypto right now. And when I started looking into crypto, Ethereum wasn't number two. Ethereum was number four at some point. And Ethereum, just this time last year was fucking $460. Right now it's like it's probably done 10 times that number. And if you would have bought four Ethereums, you know, when I first started looking into it, no bullshit. It was Ethereum. Ethereum Classic is Ethereum Classic is good because of the name Ethereum. I'll get into that in a second. But when you like no Ethereum was $143 when I looked into it. So let's say if you would have dropped $1,200 of that last year, and you wanted to trade it in for some Bitcoin now, you probably get close to like one Bitcoin and a half for that little $1,200 investment. Ethereum Classic. I don't know why Ethereum Classic isn't worth more, but the reason like that maybe some people have a stigma against it is because Ethereum Classic was the original Ethereum, and fucking they got hacked at one point, and they had to. It's going down now, but I'm still holding out for it to drop even lower for Ethereum Classic. No, I would buy Ethereum Classic because I just the name Ethereum, like just like Bitcoin Cash, like I think Bitcoin Cash is a little bit better case. It got up to almost 200 and now it's 58. That's good, bro. You should be buying at 58. But the one thing with Ethereum Classic is that it in the past they got hacked like by and like some of the people, like I don't know who hacked it, and some of the people wanted to, I think like the people behind it wanted to create more Ethereum, like to kind of brush off that hack, and some of the people wanted to leave the number of Ethereums created at that number. And I think those two parties split, which one became the Ethereum you see now, and the older one is the people that created the people that want to stay behind, and they made it Ethereum Classic. So I mean, like um I'm not a like expert on Ethereum. I can't stand Ethereum personally, like because it costs too much money for transactions. A lot of people like operate on the Ethereum blockchain, but I don't think that the Ethereum blockchain is 1,000 times better than the Bitcoin, like tech, or like if it is, there's just better stuff out there. I think Digibyte has a really good blockchain, and fucking Digibyte's 5 cents, 6 cents. Buy Digibyte. And there's a hard number on Digibyte's created. I think it's 28 billion. Which doesn't sound like. I mean, it sounds like a lot, but fucking Dogecoin probably has 10 times that number and counting. Digibyte has a hard 28 billion. It might not be even that much. It might be less. Yeah, but what I try to tell some of you guys, like is to, and it's one thing like with me as far as like I'm not like conspiratorial. Like I do read into a lot of crazy shit, but this is more about me like not being invested into cash. I think cash like fucking sucks. Like having money um like it's not that it sucks, but it's like very hard to have faith in it when they're printing so much of it. One, when there so many issues that could halt the country, like two, I'd rather have things that when these things I think eventually happen more, where they have a widespread effect on like the country or the world, that my finances are either going to be good to go or they're going to increase in these instances. And I think they're going to increase. I think a lot of people that might listen to me, when this reckoning does come, which is going to come for sure, that you motherfuckers are going to be able to clean house, bro. Like trust me when I tell you, you know, beyond anything, like I mean, if you think of cleaning house as like that, your finances are gonna go up to buy a car or to buy a fly car, then maybe you shouldn't like listen, or like maybe this isn't for you. Like you don't want to clean house to like show off to other people that didn't necessarily clean house. Like, and I'm learning that lesson myself. Like, I'm trying to be not such of a gaudy prick and fucking buy things that are like way expensive, like just to buy them. In fact, I'm selling things that I have in my life that are way expensive just to have the money and buy shit that I do like. But any clothes that I have, I always say like I've been selling this shit. I bought myself this little fucking pottery thing in a flea market. It was $1, and I love roosters and shit. And I bought my wife a silver necklace, but it's silver. And I mean, could I have bought a lot more silver for that price for $80? Sure, I probably could have bought like 2 ounces and change. But I'm not buying nothing too vain. You look retired. I wish, bro. I'm dying to be retired, bro. There's one thing I want in this world, bro, is not to fucking go to work. Seriously. Like fucking a job ain't nothing but work, bro. Like we really fucked up by, I didn't teach my son to fucking to get a job, and he better not get a job after like all I told him. But jobs, they're just very tough to become rich while working. I'll put it like that. Um, are you a contractor? No, not really. I'm fucking just a regular schmo, my friend. Um, and the thing is too that like as because you've known me even before, like Ty, like or like a couple years ago, and I wasn't on this kick that I am right now. Like maybe when you first met me, and like and because I've made like a change of how I look at things or how I invest and whatnot, like it's been like completely like fucking I wasn't doing terrible before, but shit, like I'm doing a lot better now. Um, and a lot of it too, man. Like it's because I put a lot of yeah. I never asked you what you did for a living. Oh no, a lot like I mean, I've given an indication of what I did for a living in the past. Like I mean, like rip run or whatever. But fucking like I'll tell you what I do next time I speak to you. I'm a contractor of sorts, but not like physical work, or I do physical work though. But like I said before, had I was partners in a rolling steel gate company. But even then, I made a lot of money, but I was fucking broke all the time. Like buying dumb shit, ordering out twice a week, or going to a restaurant like once a week at least. Like over tipping, fucking you name it. I've flushed it. Yeah, but I think a lot of people that even at the low end, even if you're getting like a little bit of crypto, a little bit of silver per month, and you're really like not try like you have a team that work under you. Oh hells no, nobody who would listen to me, bro. Look at his face. I wish I could eat out right now. Yeah, actually, I'm going to eat out tonight. Not too far from you, Ty. Um, if you're not doing shit, I'm like 2 hours away from you now. I'll give it up, bro. I'm in fucking Bethany Beach. I didn't want to put out my location, but who gives a fuck? I'm live in Bethany Beach. I don't know if I showed you guys the crib. I'll show it now. I don't have pants on either, but my family's out there, so fucking look at the view. Yeah, fucking my family's out here. Let me see. They'll make a cameo. My son, my nephew, and how close is that to? No, it's pretty much Rehoboth. Ty, I was in Rehoboth yesterday. Too many fucking dirt bombs out there though. But from Rehoboth, like 10 minutes maybe. If that, nah, not even like 5 minutes. Oh no, bullshit. Like it is like 10 minutes. Um, but what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, but a lot of the people that like listen to me like and like probably do a short term investment into like some of the things I say. At some point, it may not be like this summer. It may not be um you know nice. I hope you feel better, Ty. Got a wisdom teeth removed. But even if you make a small term investment, like 10% of what you could spare to these little things that like precious metals, at some point, like no matter what, you're not gonna get like fucking ass blasted like a lot of people are gonna get like in this country economically. But not only will you not get ass blasted, but you will be able to clean up bad in a major way. Trust me, trust me, trust me. Like you could dip off and live wherever the fuck you want. Like, um, and I'm very, I'm 100% committed like to these things. Like as far as like what I'm saying, like investment wise, because I'm seeing it happen. Like I know like mad people like that are fucking bummy as shit, like that have like 10 times more than like anything close to like what I'm holding. And they still like operate in a very bummy fashion. Like, they still operate being cheap, and like, they don't want to like waste money that they do have, like, because I deal with these people, like, with like precious metals, for instance. Like there was someone that I wanted to buy like, let's say like 3,000 off of. Nobody that sells precious metals, like, if like, let's say they're gonna give it to me for 30 bucks an ounce. Like, I can't talk them down to 29 bucks, let alone 29.50, like an ounce. Like, because that's just how it is. Like, and it's not only is just how it is, but a lot of these people have the same mind frame as me. Like, you don't really convince them by throwing cash around. And I used to, like, I used to think you could solve any problem by throwing cash around, and that was a stupid way of thinking. Like, um, but getting back to what I was saying, like, rather than having like a hot girl or hot boy summer even sounds a little bit fugazi. Um, uh, you know, rather than doing that and like fucking spending, thinking that you deserve a $80 shirt, like fucking or thinking that you should rent a fucking BMW 3 Series, like fucking, and pay like an extra 80 bucks a day, like when you go on vacation, this summer. Like a lot of people like tell me like, oh, I don't have that kind of money to throw at silver. But like they'll do shit like that. Like they'll fucking, like, I have a friend who was offered the upgrade, like at in Orlando. Um uh but he had money for that. He had money to be throwing dumb pictures online of, going to eat at Uno's, which is not a fancy restaurant, but it's not a fucking cheap restaurant. Hey, Lala D, uh, TS Boxing. I haven't bought new shoes in 4 years. I did buy new shoes this year, but they were $28. I actually have them here. Um, but and they're not like bummy. They're like they're Asics, which is not like, ooh, fuck, Joe's wearing Asics, like fucking big man in town. Like, but but they were 28 bucks, and eventually I am gonna need shoes. Like, I'm not an abject bum either. Like, I did sell a lot of the shit that I had, but and I'm selling a lot of the shit that I have, but like, um, fucking like like at no point am I gonna dress like extra bummy. Like, but I do buy like new shit, like sometimes at Goodwill. Most times I bought 3 shirts at Goodwill, 15 bucks, and they were all polo. Fucking but like this summer I'm not like throwing my money like fucking like taking my fucking son and nephew to fucking one of these water parks because they're bored. Like, the motherfuckers are outside reading right now because they like bitched about being bored. Like, that's what they're doing, and it's costing me nothing because the book that they're reading, oh, my nephew's reading, I bagged it from one of those little free book things that they have, like where you could take a book, leave a book. Even although I'm not gonna leave a book there because I have none to give, but will I take it? Oh yeah, fucking But yeah, the only thing I spend money on is video games. To be honest, that's my son too. My son spends decent money on video games. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna take that concession from him. Like, you know, he's totally into the investment shit, and he helps me a lot too. Like, plus at some point, my son's gonna run whatever we got going on in this house. I'll be saving a lot because I don't spend, so I'll even have more to throw at crypto than I do now. Good. When I start working after next year, you'll be my advisor for investment. Absolutely. I advise you now, like in a sense, but if you ever need help, I mean, like um you know, you got my regular number anyway. Yeah, but um you know, this summer, I mean, a lot of people are gonna be getting out for the first time. Like, they were locked down like the whole last summer, which I don't know why you did that. Like, fucking nobody should tell you like when you could go out or not go out or take a jab or whatever have you. do what the fuck you want. Don't let fear overtake you. But even though you may have had a whack summer last year, like fucking do, would will a new shirt or renting a BMW like my friend did um get you a dope summer? If you attract the young lady while driving this rented BMW, when she gets to the reality of the situation that you're living within, she's gonna become totally different franchise. You're not gonna get laid like fucking So why hey peace Michael Johnson. Uh Please subscribe to Michael Johnson Boxing Talk and More, Lala D, Tyrone Smith Boxing, all these channels that are in my chat. But if you do happen to bag a young lady like while you're like driving this rented BMW, you know, is she gonna stay with you long term? Probably not. You know, and it's better to be candid about these things. I mean, like I like Tyrone Smith is actually friends of mine off of the YouTube sphere, and I was like, I don't know, like I don't want to put Tyrone Smith's business out there, like, but he's a young guy, like he's initiating his life, and I was interested in hooking him up with my niece. That offer still stands too, my friend. But is because is it because Tyrone Smith impressed me like with his bona fide clothing? Like fuck no. Like I wouldn't hook my niece up with no guy that's about the strings that he wears. Like but I do know that Tyrone Smith got a great head about his shoulder, and that would be an investment that I would make into my family like long term. And and I know Tyrone Smith ain't gonna go rent the BMW this summer, like and go to Miami like to fake flex. Another thing too, man, like I go to Miami every year. Not happening this year. Miami fucking sucks. Like and it's a waste of money too, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Like I would get like really good deals when I would go to Miami. Like I usually stay at the Westin, like right off of South Beach, and I would get that hotel for like $100 a night, and it was like a 4.5 star joint. I would rent a decent car for like $30 a day. All that shit is like through the roof right now. Plus, Miami is bummy as fuck. You got a lot of people that go to Miami that don't stay in the hotels, that they literally stay on their cars. And if you don't got money for a hotel, you probably don't have money for a club either. So what a lot of them do is that they like hate on dudes that do have money. Um, that they hate on people that do have a little bit of money. I lived in Miami for 12 years. I loved it, but it took me 3 years to like it. No, no, I mean like I don't knock it one bit. We have a house in Florida. I mean it's not close to Miami, but it's like an hour away. But I got people like my man lives in Kendall. A lot of the dudes from my block moved to Miami, like the Kendall mob, Malaves. But one of my homeboys lives in Miramar now. Uh, so I've been going to Miami for a minute, but Miami now it sucks. Like it started really like getting shitty like in the last 2 years. Too many bums. And a lot of the dudes that chill on the strip, like all they want to do is I like yeah Kendall. But a lot of dudes that chill on the strip, they're just like looking for trouble, like fucking trying to start shit. Like it's not for me. Like not anymore. Miami was the shit though before. When I first went to Miami, I was like definitely moving here, like, but not happening. But we may live in Florida long term. Like we have a house in St. Lucie, which is a little bit up from Miami, but I don't know. I gotta work up to it. I don't want to live anywhere like all year. But yeah, I mean like going back to what I was saying though, like I think a lot of people are gonna be able to absolutely crush it. Where you could buy Miami cribs for a fucking $30,000 investment that you make to a um you know couple years from now maybe. God forbid, like this trends that we are seeing like continue. You may be able to crush it like buying like whatever property you want, land, And another thing too, like real estate prices, because I know a lot of people like actively like buying like a house, and they're having all the trouble in the world. They keep getting shot down, like for loans. I know two people personally, like, and I've told both these motherfuckers, like, don't buy a house right now. Just wait. And both of them are telling me, well, the prices are going up and up and up and up, and I'm not gonna be stuck like having to buy a house that's 50,000 more like than what they are right now. Right now, the housing market is a bunch of bullshit. Trust me when I tell you, like, like I bought a house a couple years ago, and that house probably increased in value like 60%. Um, I think that the fucking that that house is not worth 60% more, as much as I like it. Um, and I think that at some point that the housing market is definitely going to crash. Yeah, it's definitely a seller's market. The prices can go down. Absolutely. Like I just think that right now, since people don't know where to park their money on, like, and they know that money is a dangerous thing to be holding, like right now, that they're throwing money at like the housing, and plus the interest rates are so low. I mean, like, and they are very. What I am noticing is that they're being very gracious as far as like giving away loans in a market like this, which is very reminiscent of 2008. But I think 2008 is gonna make this look like a beach party. Like the what's coming next is gonna be a bloodbath. Any little shoe that drops, like whether it be housing market, it's gonna completely demolish this economy. Like the housing market could be one. I mean, like, and is the housing market gonna crash? Personally, I think it's definitely gonna crash. Um, like a matter of when. I mean, I say 2 years. That the housing economy will completely blow. And if that happens, I mean, like, if you don't buy a house before like the bubble burst, you'll be at a standstill. Okay, you didn't get fucked on an investment, but you didn't so you're pretty much left where you are right now. You sell your house beforehand, I mean, yeah, you'll clean up a little bit, like but if you're holding cash and the housing bubble happens and that cash is worth a lot less than when you sold it, then you're still like kind of just holding the bag. You're in the same position. But if you take some of that cash that you have now, even without selling a house, fucking you clean up wonderfully, like in the midst of a housing market collapse. And if you guys didn't notice, when the economy was at a standstill during the lockdowns, the prices of houses kept going up and up and up, and people were still buying through the roof, like to the point that when they eased restrictions, that caused an uptick in like the market. And right now, like what you're seeing is a lack of inventory. Like there's not like usually like the houses are selling like now, like in May and June. Like why is it that we're not seeing a mass of houses um like on the market? It's because there's none out there. They're not building new projects, and there's not a lot of inventory because a lot of that inventory sold earlier. Alpha player, did you hear about Spain and another country telling jab takers not to fly? They say they risk getting blood clots. Yeah, well, you are seeing a lot of these blood clot issues. I would love to discuss it more in depth, but YouTube, with their being a real vanguard of free speech, um, will assassinate my channel for being candid on how I feel about like the jab. And but what you're not seeing is like a lot of that stuff hit the mainstream media, um, which is it's all a ruse. I mean, like if a lot like I hope you guys like don't watch a lot of the mainstream media. Try to read a lot of these stories because your bullshit meter. No, 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 no. Like you saying that is not bad. Like me putting it out there is what'll and believe me, I would love to fucking go in on that stuff. Like a lot of these people, like um that were like anti that, Lala, the just because like, a certain political candidate like was anti that, or are like totally for that, like now, like, so you're completely switching up your stance because like your butt hurt by a politician or you're for a politician, like, so like now all of a sudden you're pro like jabbing and you're pro this and you're pro that. I'm totally like, I pulled my son out of school in junior high, like largely because of that issue before there was ever a virus. I just didn't want like the shots, if you will, or the jabs for my son, and that was one of the issues why I took him out, and including like the whole liberal dictate that was happening in school, like while my son was still in junior high. I didn't want him to go through that. I thought that you know the sex ed that they were teaching was a little bit too much, and the low expectation theory that they were pushing, like for Latin and Black students, wasn't good long term, like for my son, like and I think I made the right decision. I hope I did, but yeah, I mean, like another thing too, like with what you're discussing, we may not see the long term effects of that for maybe a year or two. But I think one, I think that a lot of the people that they're saying that did get it haven't gotten it. Like they say like New York right now is at 70%. I don't believe that shit one iota. Um like I think that a lot of people had a lot of trepidation doing it, and like I think that they're putting those numbers out there like to try to make it seem like, well, everybody else is doing it, like, and if you're on the fence, like, do it. Like, oh wow, a guy at my job, his mom. Yeah. Nah, I believe it. Yeah, totally believe it. But there's just the push that's happening now. I don't know if it's the same for you guys. Like, I don't watch a lot of TV, but I do watch the Met games on my phone, and I use that phone like app because my niece got cable, so I bootleg off her cable so I could watch the games on my phone. But I'll put the games on my TV from my phone. But anyhow, a lot of the commercials are centralized for New York, like they're New York based commercials because it's the New York Mets. Oh wow. I don't know what TIA means though, Tyrone. You could enlighten me. But within those commercials, like it's 100% like at least two commercials about that per intermission, per break. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Tyrone. So sorry to hear that. He said mini stroke. Sorry to hear that, man. Um, but per break, like per intermission, they do two commercials about that at least, and I can show you next time. And every one of them has a tinge of trying to convince like Black and Spanish people to do it, whether it be the actors on the commercials, like fucking that are Spanish and Black. Maybe like, and some of them that they used to give were um um some of the ones that they used to give were like making it seem like Black and Spanish people are missing out, like that we're being stopped from getting like these things in the past, and that now that things are with equality in mind, if you will, like because the gods all of a sudden started blessing us with equality, that now you have your chance to take it and like fucking front of the line, but I think a lot of people aren't stupid though. I mean, I hope. Like most of the people I talked to had trepidation. There's a lot, but there's also a lot of dumb motherfuckers. Like there's a lot of people that I talked to that were like, nah, I don't know if I'm gonna get it, and that I would talk to like all kinds of bad about like the Jabiru. like that I would tell him all bad stuff about it, and that like the next weekend, like, yeah, I got it, like including my fucking niece, like just living. Um, and it is what it is. I mean, like, I guess like some people like may find out the hard way. Again, I've said it yesterday, like, in my other video, which I was kind of like blabbing off, like because I just came back from the beach and I probably had like sun sickness, but uh a lot of like I don't like to be the guy like to say I told you so, like fucking um and again, I don't want to advise you what to do. Like, do I think a lot of these situations are fugazi? Absolutely. Um I tell everyone like I flew from California in March, like right in the thick of like this shit happening beforehand, like when people were going through the toilet paper scare and all this shit. I must have traveled 6 times after I went to California, like seven if you count today. Like, so I didn't want to stop my life like for something like this. I'd rather die doing what I love basically than like to fucking be in a house like fucking cooped up and pissed off at everybody and like screaming at people. Like, and I've had a lot of people like tell me like, "Oh, you fucking don't trust like this." Like, no, bro. Like, fucking, I'm not telling you not to do or like to do whatever the fuck you want, but let me rock, bro. Like, just because like Lala D like doesn't get something or like Tyrone or myself doesn't get something, like, is that gonna stop your party? Like, is life gonna stop for you? Absolutely not. If you think like wearing a mask and like doing all that other shit is gonna stop you from getting sick, then what the fuck you got to worry about me for? Or Lala D or Tyrone Smith or Michael Johnson or anybody else who's listening in my chats. Thanks to every one of you for coming through. Let me read some of the comments though. He already had high blood pressure. Um, oh, what he believes of that his mom must have gotten a jab too late to stop the virus that she must had and didn't know. Yeah, he already has high blood pressure. They should have never gave it to him if he is high risk. Um, Lala saying sorry to hear that, and he said, yeah, he's fine. Thank God he's actually been more relaxed after everything. He's like one of those guys who constantly stressed but has nothing going on though, like me. Uh, Apparently it's very common for older people, and my mom was with him when it happened. It lasted for less than 10 seconds apparently, but I'm sure the jab was yeah, could have been, man. Um, but a lot of and I'm already hearing it too. Like there was a lot of like some of the people I do business with, like three of them had like a major hard on for the last president, which I'm completely candid that I voted for the last president. Stand by that. But naturally, since they're like have such a hard on for like the last president, like they also had a hard on for rushing to get Jabberdu, and uh so they're not happy with that. Like now the other day one of them was saying, oh well, like my gym is like letting everybody who doesn't have a who does have it like not wear a mask, but it's an honor system, but they should start asking all the people in the gym like if they have like their papers or their certification. See, so we're already getting to that. Like we're already getting to the stupidity. So I mean, like in the face of that though, I mean, like would I say like argue it down, or I don't even know like right now, to be honest. Like like is it worth like getting into arguments with people? No, but I'm definitely fucking not rushing into no bullshit, like if you will. Like, and I think you guys should too. Um and again, I would love to cook on these things, like how I feel like to, you know, or give my real viewpoints, but the since free speech has to be censored massively now, like because God forbid you hear something that you don't like your ears will bleed like fucking and your head will pop Indiana Jones style. I can't speak candidly like I like. So free speech is something that we should or freedom if you will, is something that we should never take for granted, or like when we see it being infringed upon, that we should take big time offense to it. Because I mean, like just as a sharing of information, what if a lot of the opinions that I see within this chat, like are like something that should be looked into, but like now you can't even speak on that? Like what? Like why not? Like if I say something wrong, all you got to do is combat it with something that's right. Like if we could have a difference of opinions. Like I mean, like, and just because I have a difference of opinion, I'm not putting nobody's life at risk. Like, are you kidding me? But like their contention is that like you hearing my voice and like you hearing the CDC's voice, which the CDC's opinion and Dr. Fauci, all these people changed their mind like 19 times, like since this whole shit happened. Wear 9 mask, don't wear a mask, like fucking, um, whatever have you. But just because you may have a difference of opinion with people whose opinions are changing like every couple of weeks, should that get my channel like kiboshed or fucking shot down? Am I putting anybody at risk like for you to hear a fucking overweight Puerto Rican guy like give his opinion on the issue when I've dropped out in the ninth grade and fucking and not really about my diction, or like what's the point? Like you could shoot me down with the quickness if you don't like what I'm saying. Or I mean, and a better way is just to contend my points like with facts. I mean, like right now there's no facts on any of this stuff. Like why rush into like, you know, lockdowns? Or I mean, and like if you think about it, like just 3 months ago there was like some of these same people like recommending like longer lockdowns, or and now all of a sudden everything opens up. Like now all of a sudden CNN doesn't have like a death counter of like how many people like fell because of this godforsaken you know virus or whatever the fuck. Like now the economy could open back up, and like go enjoy your summer, guys. We're in the clear. Like when did we get in the clear? Not that I ever thought we were in the darkness or whatever, in the fog. Like I didn't operate like I was in the fog one iota. In fact, I took advantage of that. I drove to Florida in 16 hours, no traffic. But like now all of a sudden, you know, in March they talked about doing a lockdown until spring of 2022. Now this summer, like a few months later, like June, so they went from March to June, and they changed their opinion. Oh well, open things up. You don't need a mask. Like not that I'm saying like I'm fucking bitching that I want masks. I give a fuck. Like I think you look. If I don't gotta wear a mask, I'm not wearing a mask. You know. And I go to the supermarket, and you know, in Jersey at least, and like it'll be me and one other person not rocking the mask. But you know, which is a little bit disenfranchising. Down here, like where I'm at now, like it's actually like I'm seeing one or two people that are still wearing it. But these same people that had the opinion of you wearing a mask forever, or you being locked down for another year, like now all of a sudden are really cool with the fact that things are opening up. Why ain't they tearing shit up about shit being opened up? Like a lot of these same people that were bitching to me, like I believe in science, like or you're gonna get everybody sick. Like why ain't they like pissed off like to no end and like tearing shit up? If they thought this shit was that serious, you know what I'm saying? Like because I mean, like most of them were fed their opinions from the TV. And I mean, I think a lot of you should not watch TV as much. Read what you should, and even though that's highly censored, like I don't fucking know Washington Post or anything AP related. Owned by Jeff Bezos. Uh, I mean, I read a lot of like newspapers. It's to do with sports, but you know, and a lot of like what you could find like that may sound a tinge on the conspiratorial side on YouTube, I mean, that's getting fucked up big time now. There's a channel that I watch called Greg Manarino, and I think you guys should watch it too. But he just gives straight finance. Like, I mean, he doesn't even give an opinion as to who he liked politically. He does, I mean, but he doesn't say like that. The guy in charge now is a buffoon, or but he's been torched off of YouTube. He just started YouTube recently. He got torched off of LinkedIn. Like, what the fuck are we living in right now? And don't think that these people that are like very pro um censoring are doing it because anything to do with racial equality, or they don't subscribe to that shit. If these people were so like pro like, and I'm not saying like black people that are pro like BLM or anything like that. I'm saying like these white liberal classes that were like that are so like hopped up on that right now. Why weren't they hopped up on that shit 2 years ago? Like, why didn't that like become like a major thing like 2 years ago? Like when cops were still murking people, like why wasn't that their central core issue? Like a lot of like white liberal people like from New York that I know, like politically or whatnot, like that are like trying to set the agenda or give you an opinion. Back in the day when like cops would shoot like a Spanish guy or a black dude, like they would be the ones telling you like like trying to reel you back. You know, Republicans like I mean or like conservatives wouldn't give their opinion on that stuff because one like they probably were pro police, and like coming from them, like from a conservative, it would be like offensive, like to be like, oh well, he should have stood in the car, or he should have, or if he weren't doing crime, like but if it's a liberal saying it, it'd be more digestible. But besides that, like why weren't these like same people like that were like that are really like throwing their weight behind like all these like equality causes, why weren't they like pumped up about that shit 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago? Because they're about, like a lot of these people like they do that shit with other intentions. These are the same people that are telling you that that the fact that like our communities are not getting shots is because of inequality. No, like right across the street from mom's house, there's a portable jab station. Uh, 2 blocks from there's another one. It's just that nobody's going to these shits because if there's one thing that our people are chock full of, it's common sense. Naturally, God-given common sense. We know how to open doors, um, and don't have trouble like opening doors like a lot of these mayonnaise people do. Um, or we know like not to have our kids walking in front of us or behind us when we go to a busy area. These are things that are given to us naturally. So I hope that our people are not rushing into making these like lifetime judgments um because they're convinced to do so. Let me read some of the comments though. What do you all think about that weirdo Jeff Bezos going to space with him and his brother? I don't know if I heard about that yet. um People don't want to have their opinion, they want to control what you think and do. Absolutely. um they also said because they have to be. They know the masses are dumb when it comes to whatever they say. Yeah, I mean, like it's a problem. I mean, and again, like when I give my opinion as far as like the economy, kibosh, or um long term, what these things might equate to, like or what they. I don't say that in a pessimistic sense. I'm an eternal optimist. Like I think that people at some point, Tyrone Smith's generation and like beyond, or maybe Tyrone Smith's kids or my kids have a lot more wherewithal and a lot more of a mental capacity where these things don't happen again. Like I do think we're coming to an age of enlightenment, like where people are a lot smarter. It's just that they're really, really, really trying to get people to be a lot dumber simultaneously. Um, and I think that a lot of the people that are becoming a lot dumber were probably already dumb to begin with, but that the people that are becoming a lot smarter are becoming a lot smarter at a massive scale. Like, that's the real woke, you know. like nothing to do with the liberal woke. Um, and the whole woke shit. Like I mean, like I remember like people from the so-called conscious community in the '90s were the first ones saying that they were woke. So like these white liberal classes like completely hijacked that term where it sounds completely corny. Um, More pilfering done by the mayonnaise nation, if you will. Yeah, let me break out though. I gotta go do food shopping. Fucking and I gotta take a walk with my wife. There was a little pendant in a store that she liked, and I wanted to go get it for her. But maybe I'll go live later if you guys aren't doing shit. But besides that, though, I thank you guys 100% for coming through and hear me babbling. Thanks to Lala D. Please subscribe to her. To Tyrone Smith Boxing. I'll show their channels as like to Tyrone Smith Boxing, to Michael Johnson Boxing Talking More. Make sure you do subscribe to these channels and make sure you hit the like or don't. I don't give a fuck. But with that, I'm out. Thanks for checking me out. Peace.